Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and I am the Human Resources Assistant with our Parks Canada PEI field unit. And one of the main parts of my job is just organizing our student recruitment. So recruiting new students everywhere and then also recruiting or bringing back our old students as well, our returning students for the summer season.
And I'm Ashley Gangster. I am the HR advisor here with Parks Canada PEI. So I handle majority of the non-student opportunities, and I handle a lot of the onboarding of those non-student positions as well. So Diego, if you can flip to the next screen, perfect. So today's types of employments that we're going to discuss would include our student positions and what they entail, our youth employment and skills strategy. We do call it YES for short. As well as some general employment opportunities for non-students and non-youth, because that's not always our audience.
So one of our first student positions that we hire for is called our park communicators. So our park communicators greet visitors and provide information and orientation related to our facilities, services, programs, our regulations, and safety precautions in person or by phone. They also could be collecting revenue using a point of sale system and complete daily sales deposits. And these are bilingual positions that we hire for. You can go to the next slide, please.
Next, we have our janitorial students. So they are part of our Rockstar team. These positions mostly get to work outside, work as a team. They could be cleaning our facilities and our places, making sure that they are accessible and welcoming to our visitors. It could also include daily janitorial duties such as our kitchen shelters, potentially collecting garbage, litter picking the beaches. They could be stacking wood in the campgrounds, or they could even be cutting grass in some of our campgrounds. It is a fun position that you actually get to work outside and is one of our only English essentials, so you do not need to speak French and English for this position. So you can go to the next slide, Diego. Thank you.
So our next student position is our Heritage Communicators. So our Heritage Communicators, you'll see a lot of them working at Green Gables Heritage Place in Cavendish. So they deliver on-site programs to our visitors and respond to specific audience needs using a variety of new and innovative approaches. They greet and orient visitors to our sites, respond to questions, but they're mostly stationed in our National Historic Sites at Green Gables. You could be dressing up in costume like these two guys in the picture here, and also giving on-site tours to visitors as well. And these are bilingual positions.
Perfect. Next up, we have our animator. So there is a pun on the way it is spelled. So you could have the opportunity to be the character Anne of Green Gables at Green Gables Heritage Place. So this could be engaging with visitors, doing photo opportunities, participating in interpretive activities, such as the races, the ice cream making, and other demonstrations. So this is very similar to the Heritage Communicator Sarah just explained, but in an Anne capacity in full costume.
Awesome. And last, we have our visitor experience musician animator. So these are kind of similar to the Heritage Communicators, but aside from doing Heritage Communicator duties, they could also actually be playing music on site. And these jobs are located just at Green Gables Heritage Place in Cavendish. So they could be incorporating history, music, and theater into programs that we offer at Green Gables, and delivering on-site interactive animation, and just engaging visitors through music and theater. And these are bilingual positions as well, and they do require some experience playing an instrument. Perfect. And next we have our student job application. So the form on the side there, that's a screenshot of our application. I know it's hard to see, but we just listed some conditions of employment and requirements on the side. So all of our student jobs, you are required to provide a proof of enrollment to us, and we'll just ask that when we send out an invite for an interview. And each of our students that we hire are also required to have a one-day emergency first aid and CPR certificate. This isn't something that we require you to go out and get right away, but just in the case that you're offered a job, it is something that you're expected to have before you start work. And then for our janitorial positions, those students are required to have a Class 5 driver's license just because they could be operating our fleet vehicles or gators, RTVs, that sort of thing. For our student jobs, we also have some operational requirements. So our candidates must be willing to wear awesome Parks Canada uniform, or they could be in costume, for example, if they're a heritage communicator. You could be working a variable schedule. You could be doing evenings, weekends, working holidays as well. And you could be working outside and exposed to various weather conditions. And just something to know, we do not provide housing and transportation. And our deadline for student applications this year is Friday, February 9th.
All right, next up we have our youth employment strategy, our skills and strategy. So this program is specifically targeted for youth. So it is for those under 30 that may be facing employment barriers. Some of those barriers could be Indigenous members, visible minorities. They could have had involvement with the justice system or have had a history with substance abuse. So the goal is to increase their employment, enabling them to gain work experience and develop skills to be able to extend their networks and work towards gainful employment. So Diego, if you can go to the next slide, we'll show an example of what the application looks like. It's very similar to our student application, and Diego is going to share a link with you so that you would be able to see those on our website. So the two positions that we're recruiting for this program at this time include, we call it a GS Bus 2. It's a visitor facility attendant. So it is a cleaner position. So it's similar to our janitorial student position that it works in small teams. They get to work indoors or sometimes outdoors. They could be working in Parks Canada national parks or in national historic sites, cleaning campgrounds, beach areas. They could be working in campgrounds, cleaning campsites, or stacking wood and cutting grass. It's one of our great positions. Our GT1 Heritage presenter also could be part of the storytellers. They could be sharing information with visitors about natural and cultural history of the park. They could also be delivering interpretive programming, working at the Green Gables site, working on the beaches as part of our interp team, doing character roles or the musical instruments. It's for those who want to be front row center and on the stage. So we have also requested a deadline of February 9th, 2024 to have these applications in so that we would be able to assess the candidates at a reasonable date to be able to have them for our operational season.
Awesome. So next we just have some general employment opportunities within our PEI field units. So these are just some of the jobs that we have at Parks. Ashley explained the heritage presenters on our previous slide, but we also have visitor services attendants, which mostly work in our campgrounds, operating POS systems and checking people in. We also have visitor services team leads that oversee all of our visitor services in the park. Interpretation coordinators, which do a lot of programming and interactive activities with visitors. Our compliance team leads, so they enforce or help enforce the rules and regulations that Parks Canada has. We have communications and external relations positions, so they could be operating our social media, doing news releases to the public. Our visitor facilities attendants, which are cleaners, so Ashley kind of explained those as well. They could be cleaning campgrounds, beach complexes. Our resource management officers and technicians, so they could be working with species at risk, invasive species, maintaining ecological integrity. Our trails and grounds maintenance, so they could be doing grass cutting, trail trimming, really all different kinds of things related to all of our buildings and maintenance. We have finance and admin positions, doing revenue, accounts payable, procurement, and then human resources like us doing hiring, pay, letters of offer, all that fun stuff.
All right, so as the RCMP and Coast Guard both mentioned, we highly recommend that everyone goes to the jobs.gc.ca website. You can go and create a jobs account to be able to input your contact information, your education, be able to build a resume. And once you save it on file, it is retained so that you don't have to enter it every single time. So you can sign up for email alerts. RCMP did mention this as well, but it's highly recommended. If you go in, you can save a search. It will send an email to you at midnight the day a job is posted. So you can find that under My Account and edit email alerts. So for instance, I have mine set to see Prince Edward Island specific. I want to know what positions are popping up in Prince Edward Island. You can select the department that you'd like. If you wanted to see Parks Canada and only Parks Canada, you can select that. You can select multiple, or if you leave it blank, it will show you all government departments. So it's really nice to have those emails come into you instead of having to go to jobs.gc.ca every single day to see if anything new has been posted. But it's something we recommend all candidates who are interested in working for the federal government do. One other piece of information we ask from all of our candidates is when you see our jobs online, you want to come and work for us, you're filling out an application, we have screening questions built in as part of our assessment to be able to see if you're qualified for the position. And the number one thing we see is a lot of people just skim over them and do not provide enough information. So we would like to make sure that you're aware that we want you to fill them out for the essential criteria. When we ask you to tell us when you worked at a location, where you worked, and how you obtained the experience in that screening question, we want the details. So if you do not provide this information, your application could be overlooked and screened out of the competition. And we want to see your application. We want to see the experience you have so that you can get the job to come and work with us. So that's our number one tip for all candidates is make sure you're filling out the screening questions.
So, and just to wrap it up, our last slide has our contact information there. So if you're interested in filling out an application for our YES or student positions, you can contact us at that email there. We also have paper copies available at our Charlottetown location at our Gown National Historic Site, 2 Palmer's Lane. And then we also have our application available online on our website, so that's the link there to find it. And just to put it out as well, we are having an open house on Tuesday, January 30th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. You're welcome to come by. We'll have applications on hand that you can fill out, but we'll also be here to answer any questions, provide information, really about any jobs at Parks Canada. And that's it.
Yes,
We're
that's it.
open for questions if anybody has any.
Yep, and thank you, Diego, for sharing and for sharing our materials that we had sent to you. Appreciate it.